and Chandler Mary Seery Kearney.
Thank you, Cahirlock. Leader, last year the Data Commission published a report and had launched an investigation and published a report into the Department of Health keeping dossiers on families who were taking cases against the state for the provision of services to their children with disabilities. And they were fined. There was an outcome to that report. It was as a result of a whistleblower 2 years earlier. And the consequence of it was that they were fined. They were told that they shouldn't be. This was excessive and it was wrong. It was an unlawful gathering of data on families to besmirch those families in legal cases when they were justifiably making claims against the state for services that were owed to their children. I have very strong reason to believe that the Department of Health are still doing that, that people within the HSE are still doing that, and that if you raise your head above the parapet as a family with a person with disabilities and as a family carer, that in actual fact the might of the HSE comes down to cover their own backs for their absolute abject failure over a long period of time to deliver services to people. I have previously called for statements in this House on the delivery of services. Where are we with the delivery of services? We've had a couple of statements, and I acknowledge that Minister Rabbitte is very good. However, we need accountability for the HSE, and we have this issue that the HSE are under the Department of Health, but also under the Department of Children, and previously we've sought statements for who is accountable for their failure to deliver these services, because there is a failure. At the heart of my comments today is a woman who has a 22-year-old son living with her. They transferred from CH09 to CH07, and during that time, since that time, he has received absolutely no daycare services. He gets respite every fortnight. Recently, he was brought into respite and he was there for 4 weeks. During that time, he was in 4 different centres. He didn't get any day services during that entire time. Since he's been home, that mother has been under scrutiny by the HSE, and a rather defamatory report has just been published on her because the woman rang up and said, can somebody please do their job and produce the services to my son in the package of services that follow my son from one CH09 to CH07 that still aren't being delivered on. We need accountability. There is no accountability to these families. They're just cut adrift, they're just out there, and we really desperately need statements in this House. We need the Minister for Health to come in, because there's a buck passing between health and children on this, and we actually need this to be addressed as a matter of urgency. Thank you, Cahirlock, and thank you, Leader.